So a big week for Arsenal starts with a big victory, a hat-trick for captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and an all-round exciting game. This is at Arsenal versus Leeds United match review. Hello, I'm Richard. Welcome back to my channel over and over again, the Positive Arsenal channel. In this video, we'll look back on yesterday's victory here at the Emirates against Leeds United. I will look at the team lineups. I'm going to analyse the performance and pick a man of the match. But before I get into all that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. If you're new here, or maybe if you've been before, you like the content, just haven't got around to subscribing yet, please click on the button down in the corner there and subscribe. Please give the video a like as well. It's really important to help it grow. If you've got any comments at all to make about the game yesterday or anything at all to do with Arsenal, please drop them in the comments box below, as I do love to hear from you guys as well. So in terms of the team selection then, Mikel Arteta actually made 5 changes to the side that had been beaten at Aston Villa last weekend. There was 2, of course, that we was expecting. Bernd Leno in goal, of course, returning from his suspension, and David Luiz as well. They were both available again and they both came straight back into the side. Elsewhere in midfield, of course, Thomas Partey was injured, so Dani Ceballos came in to replace him. And then further up the pitch, Martin Odegaard made his first start, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well, his first start for a while, playing through the middle. So this is how we lined up then. It was Bernd Leno in goal. The back four was Bellerin, David Luiz, Gabriel, and Cedric at left back. Of course, no Kieran Tierney, still been missing for a while now, hasn't he? Bit of a worry that is. But let's hope he's back for the Benfica game on Thursday. The midfield then, it was Ceballos and Xhaka renewing their partnership, of course, that worked so well towards the end of last season. Then the 3 just in front, it was Smith Rowe, Odegaard and Saka, and then Aubameyang through the middle. So Pepe, Martinelli, Lacazette, Willian, Elneny, Chambers, Mari Holding and Matt Ryan were on the bench for Arsenal. For Leeds then, they only made 1 change in the personnel. Of course, that was Calvin Phillips, of course, was out injured as we expected. So Bielsa did actually shuffle his team around a little bit. So it was Meslier in goal. They had a back 4. It was young Shackleton came in at right back. Luke Ayling and Cooper were the 2 centre backs, with Alioski at left back. It was Struijk, the defender, actually was sitting in midfield alongside Klitsch. Then their midfield was Raphinho, Dallas and Harrison, and of course Patrick Bamford up front. So a slight change of system as well for Leeds in this game to compensate for the fact that Phillips was missing. So they were the team lineups for this game. I suppose you could say it was a game of 2 halves in many ways. The first half performance from Arsenal was as good as we've produced under Mikel Arteta. In fact, it was up there with the performance at Wolves a couple of weeks ago. But the only difference was this time we did manage to get the goals that we deserved. Of course, the first goal was quite early in this game, which I think we needed. We started off on the front foot anyway, closing Leeds down really high up the pitch, forcing errors and playing some really good football as well. Some great movement from our forward players. And that's what led to the first goal. It was a nice little move. Smith Rowe and Xhaka combined. It was a ball from Xhaka out to the left-hand side to Aubameyang. He does what he likes to do, cutting inside. Instead of trying a curler shot into the far corner like he's done often before, he maybe caught the goalkeeper out with a shot at the near post. And maybe the keeper was slightly unsighted, but maybe could have done better. But it went in at the near post, gave us that early lead. After that, it was looking very similar to the Wolves game. We was dominating the match. We were creating chances, but we couldn't get the second goal. It looked as though there was a crucial moment actually midway through the half when Saka went down in the penalty area under a challenge from Cooper. Referee Stuart Atwell initially did give the penalty and it looked like the right decision. However, when you saw a few replays and VAR were going to get involved, you started to doubt whether or not it was going to stand as a penalty. In the end, Atwell went to look at the screen and decided it wasn't enough for a penalty. And maybe that was the right decision. I think the contact was fairly minimal on Saka and he did look as though he was already on his way down anyway. I think I'd have been disappointed if a penalty like that had been given against us. But it didn't matter in the end anyway. As about 5 minutes later, we got another penalty and this one did stand. Again, it was Saka involved. He closed down goalkeeper Meslier, who'd had a bit of a nightmare first half, if we're honest. He won the ball off him and the goalkeeper brought him down. It wasn't a red card as Saka was heading away from the goal, but maybe it should have been a yellow. Anyway, it was a penalty, which was the most important thing. Aubameyang stepped up and confidently put it into the side netting left-hand side. So 2-0 was brilliant for the first half, but it got even better right in the very last minute of the first half. We got a third goal as well, which was fully deserved. Again, Saka was at the heart of it, as he was everything in that first half, running at the Leeds defence. They didn't know what to do with him. Eventually, a cross came in from Aubameyang. Bellerin headed it to Smith Rowe. He played it back to Ceballos. Lovely little pass through the Leeds defence, found Bellerin, and he managed to drill a shot in at the near post as well. So 3-0 at half-time was a fantastic result for us, and fully deserved as well for what was probably, I'll say, our best 45 minutes of the season for sure, and probably under Mikel Arteta as well. When you're 3-0 up at half-time, I always find it's difficult to know how to approach the second half. Do you go for more goals and really kill the game off, or do you just manage the game and see it out for 3-0? Manchester City are famous for that, aren't they? When they've got a big lead at half-time, they don't often score in the second half, do they? They just see the game out, keep possession of the ball. Our whole game plan maybe changed within 2 minutes of this restart when we got a fourth goal, actually. And it was fantastic for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to get his first Premier League hat-trick for us, after all the problems that he's had off the pitch as well. It's been a poor season for him, but he did look back to his best. This was another good goal, actually. Cedric won the ball back. Again, Saka had been involved. It came to Smith Rowe. A lot of people think it was maybe a shot to the far post, but I believe he did mean to cross it. And there was Aubameyang with a diving header into the empty net from about 5 yards. I say, to complete his first Premier League hat-trick, and great to see him playing with a smile on his face again after all the problems that he's had. Maybe at 4-0, we thought the job was done, and obviously with a big game coming up Thursday, I think we maybe switched off a little bit. We sat back, allowed Leeds to come onto us, which is a dangerous game against a side like Leeds, and we were punished. Leeds did get 2 goals back. The first one was from a corner. It was Strike, the defender who was playing in midfield, came out of a strong header, didn't maybe defend it that well. And then a little while later on, Leeds got a second goal as well. It was a substitute, Helder Costa. In fact, it was 2 substitutes. Roberts got cleared down our right-hand side. Bellerin was maybe caught out by the ball. Xhaka was maybe a little bit slow tracking his man, and Helder Costa scored to make it 4-2. And it did look as though maybe we were going to be rocking a little bit, but no, we didn't. We actually saw the game out quite well after that point. In fact, we could have added a couple more goals, couldn't we? Aubameyang nearly got a fourth when he hit the crossbar with a great first-time effort from the edge of the box. Of course, the last time we played Leeds at home in the Premier League, it was our other number 14, Thierry Henry, who scored 4 goals, didn't he, on that particular occasion? So Aubameyang almost repeated that fate. And then later on as well, it was Bukayo Saka ran through and he hit the post. So we could have added a couple more goals, and that would have probably been fully deserved as well. But overall, it was a really good performance from Arsenal, really important victory as well. A lot of people saying we should maybe forget about the league with the Europa League coming up, but I don't believe so. I think it's important that we try and finish in the top 6 if we can, and this result really helps us on the way to doing that. I mean, I suppose the man of the match in a way should be an obvious choice, shouldn't it, when we've got a player who scored a hat-trick? And I would say under normal circumstances, there would be no question about that. However, I do feel in this game, there were several good performances that maybe deserve to be highlighted. I thought Bellerin took his goal well. Yes, he was maybe caught out for their second goal, but I thought overall Bellerin had a really good game. Defensively, he was pretty solid and he got forward well. I thought David Luiz had a good game at the back as well. Good to see him back. I do feel his leadership and his experience really helps a younger defender such as Gabriel, who also looked a lot better. I think Cedric at left back again was okay. Wasn't fantastic, but he did okay. And of course, Leno in goal didn't really have a lot to do. He made a couple of decent saves, but couldn't do anything with the 2 goals. But he wasn't really called into action very much, was he, in this game, unlike the match at Ellen Road, of course, earlier in the season when he was man of the match. I thought the midfield too, Ceballos and Xhaka were really good. I thought they dominated that first half in particular. Ceballos, good to see him back in the side and producing a decent performance as well. He's been a bit hit and miss, hasn't he, for us over the 2 seasons that he's been at the club. But I thought yesterday he played really well. I thought Odegaard on his first start as well deserved a lot of credit. He clearly is a very class act, isn't he? When he's got the ball, he's fantastic. He's almost silky the way he moves with it. He's got some great range of passing as well. And I think he's going to be a big player for us for the rest of this season. I thought he had a really good game. Smith Rowe, maybe again, looking a little bit tired, I think. He did put that great assist in for the 4th goal. And he did show some nice touches as well. He played well, but maybe he's slightly gone off the boil a little bit after his good performances earlier in the season. What can you say about Aubameyang? I mean, the 3 goals. It's what he needed. He got 2, of course, in his last start against Newcastle. So let's hope this is Aubameyang back to his very best, because that's what we need. He did play with a smile on his face. He looks a lot more relaxed before the game as well. Maybe the issues in his personal life have been sorted, and he's a lot happier now in general. And that came across in his performance yesterday. 3 great goals. 3 different goals, all good goals in their own right as well, well taken goals. So it's good to see him back. Let's hope he can go on a run now and get back amongst the sort of numbers that we'd have expected him to get. But for me, we can't ignore the performance once again of young Bukayo Saka. What a fantastic young player this guy is. Every time he got the ball yesterday, ran at the Leeds defence. They didn't know how to deal with him. They couldn't deal with him. He was unlucky not to get 2 penalties. He did obviously win 1. He was at the heart of everything good about our attacking play. It's just unfortunate that you look at the game and you could say, well, he didn't score, he didn't get an assist. But sometimes you have to ignore the statistics and just see what you see with your own eyes. And that was a fantastic performance. And it's not a one-off from him either. He's producing performances now week in, week out. It's great to see such a young player, 19 years old. I mean, he's got to be the best young English talent, certainly in the Premier League. In fact, I would say he's been one of the best players in the Premier League this season. His consistent performances, of course, he won't be recognised because Arsenal are down in mid-table. But I don't think there's any way that you can ignore the fact that this young guy is fantastic. And I almost feel bad for not giving man of the match to Aubameyang for his hat-trick. He had a great game as well. But for me, I just can't look any further. The man of the match in this game has to go to Bukayo Saka. So a brilliant performance overall, a brilliant result. Yes, we got a little bit sloppy towards the end, but we were 4-0 up, and we do have a really big week of games coming up against Benfica on Thursday, the league leaders Man City, of course, next weekend, and then the second leg against Benfica. So you can understand why we maybe dropped off a little bit towards the end, made a few substitutions. The only negative I would say from my point of view is the fact that the first substitute to come on was Willian. When we had Pepe and Martinelli on the bench. I mean, Pepe in particular must be quite frustrated. He had a couple of decent games. He then had one maybe slightly off game against Aston Villa, and he straight away left out of the side. Of course, it worked because we won the game, so we can't criticise Arteta for that. I just feel a little bit sorry for Pepe, actually. It seems like he's only allowed 1 poor performance and he's left out of the team, whereas some other players, certainly early in the season, were allowed 6, 7, 8, 9 poor performances in a row. I'd love to have seen Martinelli get a run. I think he needs minutes in his legs ahead of these big games that we've got. We're going to need him. But once again, he wasn't even brought on at all. So there seems to be a little issue there. I'm not sure what's going on with Willian, why he's always has to be the first substitute brought on when he's not doing anything to justify that. It's good that he's finally out of the starting 11, but while he keeps being brought on ahead of these other players that maybe are more deserving of a place on the pitch, then there is a question that needs to be asked. But we don't want to go too much about that. We don't want to be too negative because it was a good performance from Arsenal and a good victory. There's still questions that we need to get answers for, isn't there? But I say overall, very satisfied. Great 3 points for Arsenal. And we move on now to, I say, a really, really busy week coming up with some massive games. So that's my review video for the game yesterday against Leeds United. Stay tuned to the channel this week because there's lots of stuff coming up. We're looking ahead to the Benfica game, so I'll be doing a full review video of that game probably tomorrow, and I will hope to do a live show every Wednesday night as well to really go into that Benfica game. And then of course we've got the weekend, Manchester City at home, so I'll do my live show probably on Friday again and look to get a Manchester City fan on to go over all the usual stuff that we do there as well, past meetings, players that have played for both clubs, all that kind of stuff. Looking to do that on Friday, so stay tuned. Lots of stuff coming up. If you haven't done so already, please click on the subscribe button down in the corner there. Please give this video a like as well, share the content around, and I say if you've got any comments at all about the performance yesterday, anything to do with Arsenal, please drop them in the box as well. It's always great to hear your points of view as well. And also as well, make sure you check out my new show that I did yesterday after the game, the post-match reaction show. Got a few different fans on to talk about the game, something I'm going to do on a regular basis if you like it, so please let me know what you thought about that as well. In the meantime, of course, stay tuned to the channel, lots coming up. Thanks for your support, don't forget to subscribe, and of course in the meantime, as we head towards a really big week for Arsenal, come on you Gunners!